Many of us wish to create meaningful relationships with others, as well as to enjoy parties and other social settings. Yet social anxiety causes us to freeze in fear and shy away. Today, we hope to give you some ideas to help you cope with social anxiety. If you find today's video helpful and informative, please leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. Social anxiety or social phobia is a fear of social situations. While many struggle to feel completely at ease when faced with meeting new people, those suffering with social anxiety will struggle more as fear, and specifically the fear of how they are judged, can cause them to freeze when faced with social situations or avoid it altogether. The irony is that many people with social anxiety will be seen as quiet, shy, aloof, or even disinterested when in reality they crave to be accepted into group and make friends. It's a condition that can have a massive impact in all aspects of life and can prevent people from showing the best versions of themselves to the world. So at this point you might be thinking to yourself, well, if I have social anxiety, what steps can I take to deal with the condition? The first thing to understand is that to manage social anxiety, cognitive behavioral therapy can play a huge role. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT for short, is used to treat a variety of conditions such as depressions and other forms of anxiety. The basic premise of the treatment is if you have negative patterns of thought, in this case fear of judgment when in social situations, then these thoughts are challenged to try and dispel the fears or rationale that you made to come to the conclusions of these thoughts in the first place. So to give an example, someone struggling with social phobia may feel distressed when introduced to someone new. The reason for the distress might be that when they meet the new individual, they immediately feel self-conscious and therefore take an automatically defensive and reclusive stance to avoid any kind of embarrassment. The whole purpose of CBT is to dispel the notion that they need to feel embarrassment in such a scenario, or at the very least to understand that embarrassment isn't as harmful as it might initially appear. Using this method, a trained therapist can make significant progress with a patient to help their confidence. However, what steps can you take to help you overcome social anxiety? Well, often the best thing for the condition is exposure. You can't overcome a fear if you're not willing to put yourself in a position to confront that fear. It's no different with social anxiety. If you're afraid to meet new people, you need to go meet them. So great, now you know what you need, but doing it is easier said than done, right? Well, in that case, take a moment to yourself and have a moment of introspection. Ask yourself why you feel this way to understand your state of being, and then take steps to rationalize your fears. In my video to overcome stress and anxiety, I discuss a technique of using internal dialogue to try and rationalize emotional responses to come to a productive and objective solutions. That same technique can be used in this scenario too, to help you understand and rationalize your fears. If you haven't seen the video to manage stress and anxiety, I will link it in the description below. The reason to understand and rationalize your fears are because they are often irrational and unfounded to begin with. We tend to fear through emotional response rather than using rational thought. Without factual evidence to support your fears, you can quickly understand that what you're doing is assuming the worst rather than the probable outcome. So you've taken the first step and internalized and rationalized why you have your condition. So what next? Well, the next step is to get exposure to your fear. That means go out, go find people and go talk to them. It will be nerve-wracking. No one would say it's easy to confront a fear, but it's necessary. You can support yourself by preparing a conversation in advance. However, what I think is better is using methods to understand where your fear stems from to begin with and take steps from there. The fear is normally conditioned by a number of thoughts or concerns running through your head about yourself. Because you're so focused on how you're perceived by others, you become crippled by the myriad of thoughts and emotions in your head. So, if your fear stems from the fact that your focus is completely internal, where do you need to shift focus? That's right, your attention and focus needs to be external. This means when you meet someone, focus on them as much as you can. You can do this by showing a consistent interest in them and by asking them questions about themselves. Keep doing this because as long as your attention is focused on them rather than yourself, you'll be less self-aware of your own issues and conditions. Again, to reiterate, it's not easy and may need a good few attempts before you feel comfortable, but at least you're doing something to make progress in the right direction. And then, when you've taken a step forward to working to overcome your anxiety, treat yourself to something nice. Life's hard enough without the little treats. However, the reward isn't just to pat yourself on the back, but rather to associate exposure with reward, meaning you give your fear of positive connotations, making you more inclined to do it again. All of us have something special and, dare I say, something extraordinary inside of us to give to the world. The problem is, if you can't share yourself to the world, then the world will never see what you have to offer, which is a loss for everyone involved. So take a step forward, down the hard path, and show the world the brilliance that is you. So what I want to know is, have you had to overcome social anxiety, and what did you do to take steps forward and meet new people? Please let me know in the comment section below. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.